to 3.83. Today they knocked it down 11 points, basis points. So it went down to 3.72 in one day. They're desperate. But that rate is going to go to 5% by the end of the year, and I think you're going to see 6.25% to 6.5% rates, and that should happen by the end of the year. And you saw the failed rally in the dollar. It went from 74 to 78, turned around, and it got down today as low as 76.75. It closed at 77. It's going to get down and test here within the next month or two, 71.18, and it'll test a couple of times, then it'll break. And when it breaks, it could get down to 40, 50, 60, who knows? It's uncharted territory. And when it gets down there a year to a year and a half from now, that's when we'll have the official devaluation, and that's when we'll have, over that period of time, a couple of thousand banks go under. That's $800 billion to $1 trillion for the FDIC. And even if I'm wrong, and only 1,000 go under, they're talking about $400 billion. And they only got $93 billion, $45 billion of which came from banks. They paid their dues 3 years ahead. That's the only reason they got 45 of that $93 billion. The house is coming down.
By the way, I wanted to mention Wayne Madsen has a program right here on RBN. He's on Saturday evenings at 6 p.m. Central Time. Wayne Madsen's Saturday Roundup Report. So you may want to tune into that as well. And by the way,
he is a terrific researcher. He's one of the best.
By the way, I wanted to mention before I go to John in Michigan, hang on, John, there's something else to be considered with this mortgage situation. Well, we're getting ready for the strong side of the storm to hit us. We're in relatively calm waters right now. We'll just call that the eye of the hurricane. Bob, what incentive would people have to keep paying on a mortgage? Say they did a 30-year fixed and they bought their house for $300,000 and it's only worth $150,000 on the market right now. Why would you want to be locked into a mortgage to pay all that interest and eventually get around to the principal? But why would you want to make good on a loan for $300,000 when your property is only worth half of that? And keep in mind, people may be walking away from that going, well, no, to hell with it. I'm just going to default on it. It's not.
Well, of course.
And you know, did their job situation change? It might have. Did they have to take a job with lesser pay, maybe lesser hours? We can't work 4 8-hour shifts in a day. We only work 3. Of course, that doesn't allow any time for eat or sleep or anything else. But you're going to continue as the unemployment picture in this country worsens, and they're trying desperately, Bob. I don't know if you've been watching anything to have to do with Bloomberg or the financial shows, but they're trying desperately to put on a happy face and telling everybody, well, factory orders are up and retail sales are up and, well, everything is up. No, it's not. I mean, why don't they just do a couple of shows, tape them, and just loop them? Because I'm getting tired of the new lies. They're just not washing with anybody. But there are Wall Street businesses, folks, that are, their stock dividends are coming up a little bit. Their stock prices are looking a little bit more attractive. But what do they have to do to make that look more attractive, Bob? What have these corporations and these companies done to increase or at least hold the value of their stock?
Well, previously they had borrowed money to engage in the purchase of their own shares, and that worked quite well for them. I don't think that they're in a position to do that, even though money's cheap. And I'm talking about major corporations. The middle-sized corporations can't borrow anything, and neither can the little guys. And they create 80% of the jobs. So there's not going to be any job improvement. You get the census hiring coming up, and that's not going to really amount to a lot. And then the negative side, you've got coming up in February the birth-death adjustment, and that's going to be very bad. We're talking 840 to 880,000 jobs that were created that didn't exist, when in fact the figure is 1.7 million, incidentally. And it's all bad news all year. And they've been keeping the market up by the Fed and the Treasury intervening and manipulating the market. And that's the only way they've been able to do it. And when it comes down, it's going to come down hard. And the first stop, 81 to 8,400. And I think it can attain that this year easily.
You know, Bob,
go ahead.
We used to talk about the plunge protection team, and they would only come in when the market was doing wild swings. And, folks, you remember, the curbs would be put in. Remember that little flashing little icon they used to have when you're watching the stock tickers?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you don't see those anymore now, do you?
Well, they don't have those limits anymore. And on top of that, the Fed and the Treasury won't tell you what they're doing in the market. Now, one of the things about the bill, which investigates and audits the Fed, that's one of the first things they'll go after. What are they doing in the market? And they're going to be able to find that out because they can look at the transactions, and it'll be clear very quickly what they've been doing. And the minute they release that, the public's going to go berserk. Never mind all of the other ratty stuff, the criminality that's been going on for 96 years. No, we've got them on the run, and I think we can beat them. We may have revolution in the process, but, you know, the American people get the kind of government that they deserve and the kind of problems they deserve because they didn't participate.
They just hired a bunch of mid-level managers, little bureaucrats with no minds, and they let them run their affairs. Yeah, a lot of people have suggested, Bob, we've got exactly the government that we deserve, but it had a lot of help. John in Michigan. Hello, John. Thanks for holding on. How you doing? John, are you there? John? I can hear him. He's not talking.
He's just breathing.
He's just breathing heavy. Okay. We'll put him back on hold if he decides he wants to come back. Okay. By the way, we're going to ask you fine folks, we got the Bob Chapman deal of the day. Of course, Robbie is off on another planet today. So don't call the 800-691-7898. You can call the office directly for this one today. Swiss 20-franc gold coins. Now, folks, if you haven't seen these things, they're one of the most beautiful gold coins ever minted. They were struck in 1492 originally, and were known worldwide as a universal currency. Today, Swiss gold is put away by both coin collectors and gold investors. Now, collectors love the beauty and the classic designs, while the investors are typically looking to put away small gold coins. Well, here's the official specifications, the specificity. The Swiss Miss series of gold coins was officially issued by Switzerland and bears a date. And then these range from 1897 to 1935. These are genuine legal tender Swiss gold coins by law, and they each contain 0.1867 trillion ounce of pure gold. 20 or more, $5,325, and that is delivered. And with that, you get the much anticipated and awaited International Forecaster. You get that for a year. You already got it? Good. Send it to somebody else. Bring them up to speed of what's going on right out in Jump Street, right under their nose, but they don't know what's happening. And, of course, you get that fine ceramic mug, as Robbie, and that fine ceramic mug from Republic Broadcasting. So give us a call here at the network at 800-724-2719. There's a lot of people out there to listen to this program every single week. Do us a favor, shop with us for the gold, because we need the business and you need the cheap gold, okay? And we promise there's no tungsten in the middle of our coins. At any rate, do I have John? Hello, John.